And the last part, I did think it was heartwarming. Once Daryl was trying to leave, he does come across his grandfather's tombstone, and has to fight a ton of zombies in order to get to shore. The boat is almost there, and yet again, this is another reminder why Laurent gets on my nerves. Hey, what's going on, people? It is another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything. And before we get started, two things. If you would like and subscribe, that would be a huge, huge favor. And also, just a warning, this is going to have a few spoilers, of course. And I may jump around. I may not go in chronological order of events like the episode showed. So, with that being said, let's get into it. The season finale, I enjoyed it. As I said a few videos ago, this particular season or series is actually restoring my excitement for Walking Dead. I really appreciated it, and the thing that I am excited about is the way this particular episode ended. We see Carol. Carol is riding around the city looking for DARYL DIXON, happened to see his bike, and and she is doing her detective thing, trying to track down where DARYL went. So who knows? That got me excited, because I am now curious if somehow, some way, perhaps we'll see Carol have a reunion with Daryl. Maybe Carol, tracks him all the way down to France, and how I would love that. I know it sounds kind of far-fetched, but the fact that they showed Carol, and the fact that it doesn't look like Daryl's leaving France anytime soon, I really think we could get a reunion of Carol and Daryl doing a thing in Paris whenever season 2 decides to drop. So now, with that being said, I really appreciated how this episode started. It literally picks up right where we left off. So, of course, they pick up right where we left off. We see DARYL DIXON fighting some juiced up zombie. And, of course, to my satisfaction, DARYL DIXON makes light work of the zombie. I was like, yes, of course. Like I said, DARYL DIXON go down, we got to ride. And you can't have him die in his own show. So he makes light work of it. Even after they up the ante by having him chained up to Quinn, shoot, they make it look even easier. Unfortunately, we definitely see later on in this episode, Quinn is actually bitten. And I really enjoyed that whole Coliseum human versus zombie thing, because it reminded me of the classic Russell Crowe movie, Gladiator. I'm paraphrasing because it's been a while since I saw the movie, but it's like, you fight for your freedom or whatnot, and you make the crowd cheer for you, something like that. But that was one of the main goals of the Gladiator, and we definitely see at the end of both of these battles, the French crowd is now cheering for Daryl, and I thought that was so dope. I felt like, I haven't looked at any behind the scenes things, whatever, but I felt like that may have been like a small homage to Gladiator some way, somehow. But that's just me speculating. No actual research or evidence of that particular take. But of course, to Genet's dismay, she just wants to take Daryl out, and of course the homeboy Fallow comes to the rescue. Fallow and his homeboy. I thought that was really dope, and and that's how they escaped. This shootout causes a ruckus, therefore allowing Daryl and Quinn to escape. And as we mentioned, once they're alone, they realize that realized Quinn was bitten during the battle. So, but yeah, man, that whole thing was so dope. I thought the escape was nice. And of course, once he was bitten, Quinn definitely, still has, clearly has feelings for Izzy or Isabel, and gave his life, since he was already bitten anyway, to try to further help the escape of Daryl, so he can get to Izzy and Laurent. All that was great. That whole escape, that whole first half, this whole episode was great, but that first half really was turned up for me. And I must say, when it came to Daryl reuniting with Isabel and Laurent, we see that Quinn is about to get at Isabel, and the kid who plays Laurent, his name escapes me at the moment, but he does an excellent job. I know the character himself. I know the character means well, but sometimes the character just gets on my nerves. But in this particular instant, I was so happy for him. I was rooting for him. He was so hesitant and passive, and had to get so much encouragement with by Daryl. So Izzy's about to get bit, and I'm just like, all right, this guy's gonna get Izzy killed just because he's so hesitant. He's not built the same way as some other kids that was in the original Walking Dead, which we've talked about. But after he hears Daryl with the encouragement of God will forgive you, he goes into action. Thank goodness. So I was happy to see that as well. So yeah, man. I was that moment. I was proud of Laurent. Laurent came through and actually saved Isabel's life. Great stuff. And one thing that I did think was kind of petty from Isabel. We definitely see when they riding around and the truck breaks down. Daryl talks about the experience of having an absent father and how history repeated itself with the grandfather being absent and how he went to war in France. All that. And once they get to the nest, you also see Daryl fitting right in. He's teaching people how to shoot. He's being goofy with Laurent, letting his hair down. And of course, like, Daryl is like the LeBron James of survival and killing zombies. And so, of course, the nest doesn't want him to leave, and you get the guy who was talking to him. And of course, you get Isabel talking to him about trying to get him to stay. The part I thought was petty, though, once Daryl was like, look, man, I did my job. I got y'all here safely to the nest. I got to get back to my family back in the States. The part I thought was petty, Isabel brought up his absent father as if, him leaving Laurent is the same thing as Daryl's father and grandfather being absent. And I'm like, I'm glad Daryl called her out on like, that's not the same thing. One, this ain't my kid. I was there just to get him safely to y'all, but this ain't my kid, number one. And even even if it was like a stepdaddy type of situation, it's like, Izzy and Daryl ain't in no relationship. So now don't try to put this guilt trip on me of me trying to get back to my family or my friends and family. It's the same as if I'm trying to abandon, like I'm some deadbeat dad or something. I thought that was petty, Isabel. That was very petty. So that's one thing as well. Just to rewind it a little bit, we also see that Gaudron actually does have a heart. He has, the crew caught him off guard. You got Daryl, Isabel, Laurent. He could have cleared them all out. And I'm glad he didn't. We actually see that Gaudron actually has a soul, has a heart. When he has a chance to take out Laurent, and take out Daryl, he actually takes out his team instead, because once again, you're talking about taking out a minor, and that's just not in Gaudron. So I appreciated that. And he probably still, I'm sure he still has a grudge against Daryl, and who knows, perhaps season 2, maybe Gaudron and Daryl will catch the fade one-on-one season 2 at some point. But who knows, because we also see that Gaudron is actually punished, looks like on the verge of being tortured once Genet, saw right through his lies. So that's another thing as well. So who knows, Gaudron might end up being an ally season 2. That's kind of up in the air. Should he escape Genet somehow? So that's very exciting to see, man. And the last part, I did think it was heartwarming. Once Daryl was trying to leave, he does come across his grandfather's tombstone, and has to fight a ton of zombies in order to get to shore. The boat is almost there, and yet again, this is another reminder why Laurent gets on my nerves. Actually, why the nest in this case might get on my nerves. You're telling me everyone's been waiting for this kid to come back to the nest, only for him to escape to bring Daryl back. I don't think he snuck out. I really feel like somebody purposely let him out to see Daryl, because it's like this. if this kid is that important to you, he shouldn't just be able to disappear that easily from the nest in order to say goodbye to Daryl. And of course, even though the boat is almost there, Daryl's not going to let the kid die. So of course, Daryl takes the kid back to the nest. Therefore, we're going to get a season 2. I thought this was an overall great job. My only minor setback is I wish the season was longer. But then again, they did tell the full story in only 6 episodes. And I thought that was a good way to wrap up season 1. So, yeah, man. Let me know what y'all thought about the episode. If you agreed or disagreed with any of my comments. And, hey, love it or hate it, folks. That's my review. Peace.